I remember that night. I remember every night. Whew! Let's get it. You know what you're here for? It's Calabasas Reviews. And today, episode 3 of Moon Knight. Let's jump right into it. So, today, Moon Knight, episode 3, titled The Friendly Type. Not too many friendly types in this episode, but that's the title. Director, Mohamed Diab. Executive producers, Kevin Feige, Louis Despacito, Victoria Alonso, Brad Winderbaum, Grant Curtis, my man Oscar Isaac, Mohamed Diab again, and Jeremy Slater. Written by Beau DeMaio and Peter Cameron and Sabir Pirzada, with the main cast of Oscar Isaac as Stephen Grant, aka Mark Spector, aka the Moon Knight, Ethan Hawke holding it down as Arthur Harrow, May Kalamawi as Layla El Fowley, F. Murray Abraham as the creepy but constantly hilarious Khonshu, and a special shout out to Diana Bermudez as Yatzil, aka the Avatar of Hathor. She was looking right. I appreciated that. Okay, let's keep it moving. So this episode, The Friendly Type, I'm gonna get into the rating in a little bit, but it was a solid episode. It had some good moments and it advanced the plot. But on a review basis, okay, so I'm gonna just get this out the way. The downsides were, I'd say, the trial scene and the tomb burning because of what I like to call Kenan and Kel elements. This is something that happened when I was a kid on the show Kenan and Kel, where they had a plot line that could be resolved like literally within the first 2 to 3 minutes of the episode, but they would do constant holding back like things of the plot, deliberately not doing things that would extend the runtime of the episode out to 30 minutes. Couldn't stand it as a kid, can't stand it now. The trial scene, while visually very appealing, also had my girl Diana Bermudez in there, it was held back simply by Mark Spector just not saying, yo, Arthur's at the tomb, like go look what he's doing in the desert. He's trying to exhume Hamet or Amit, the name of the goddess. It could have been resolved in like 2 seconds, but instead they're going back and forth. And like when they asked him if he was well and he said, I'm not well, I actually had to pause the episode. I was like, yo, y'all need to get through this. So yeah, that whole thing it took me back to those Kenan and Kel days. And secondly, the tomb burning where Arthur Harrow shows up somewhat inexplicably again at the end when they're about to assemble the star map and find out where Amit's tomb actually is. He shows up, kind of does a little razzle-dazzle on the little prince dude there, and just burns the tomb up while Mark Spector is being held captive. If he would have transformed into Moon Knight, which there was nothing holding him back from doing so, that could have been resolved in half a second. They could have assembled the map, even showed the dude, be like, yo, this is actually why we're here, and been on their way. So those two elements kind of held the episode back for me, but other than that, it was great. So the good points. I mean, this is Marvel. There are a lot of good points. One scene that stuck out to me was the riverboat scene. It was just beautiful. It showed the dichotomy between man and woman. And there's a quote that goes, the most sacred of all relationships is that between man and woman. And that scene really exemplified that. Like, the way the cameras were set up, they were going back and forth. You saw it from the man's point of view, from the woman's point of view. Then they were like holding hands. I almost got chills during that scene. It was great. It was just a great depiction of life. Moving on. Mark and Steven together, they're just an OP combination. And this episode really pointed that out. And the aspect of if you had, I guess, another person within you, or even like 3 people, 3 personalities, and y'all could work together, there's a lot you could do. Mark's beating people up, but when he gets to the point where he's like looking at the star map or needs to decipher anything in Egyptian, Steven's right there. And as capable as Mark is a fighter and just like a knowledgeable, like getting around type person, Steven's right there with archaeology, which makes me even more mad they wouldn't give him the good job in the museum. So like when Mark hits those walls and Steven like instantly starts going off like, no, I know exactly what that is. It just hit me like, these dudes are OP. I mean, he's actually a strong character, and the episode really showed that. And while I'm on the topic of that, of the star map, once again, I don't know why they try to portray Steven as a nerd. Well, I know why, because he has to have a dichotomy with Mark. Or why he thought he was a nerd. Because when he whipped out that cellophane tape and brought together that star map in the shape of the star and gave it to Layla, I was like, yo, he's a player. So I don't know how he got this nerd rap. Like Steven, he's got the gas. That was good. And speaking of imagery, I mean, this is what Marvel does best. And this is why I've been reading Marvel comics or comics in general since I was a kid. Flipping through the pages, that sky turning scene. The sky turning scene. They just know what to do. Khonshu pulls up, because again, they were at a wall with the stars. Precession of the equinox, stars move over time, while the earth moves over time. So the stars just aren't going to be in the same position relative to the earth as they were 2,000 years ago, or even a day ago, but that's kind of beside the point. This man Khonshu shows up out of nowhere. I remember that night. I remember every night. Whoo! Let's get it. And he's like, yo, suit up, just do what I do. The way the stars move through the sky and like the actual, just the showing of, just the lights, the colors. Just Marvel knows what to do when it comes to that. Shout out Khonshu, obviously very powerful. He's a god, presumably, so to be able to even do that. But yeah, they put some bread and butter into that scene and it showed. It was just a great, depiction of what Marvel does. And it shows, once again, why they are who they are. And it was a great scene. Just very powerful. So it was a very good episode. It advanced the plot. We know that Mark now has my man Khonshu frozen up in the stone. So, I'm sure he's going to free him. But they got to figure out how to stop the resurrection of Ammit and, save the world or whatever it is they need to do in just a few episodes left. So for advancing the plot, it does get some good grades and for some amazing imagery. But overall, I've given the previous 2 episodes 4 out of 5 stars. This episode gets 3 out of 5 friendly Mark Spectors for bringing in those Kenan and Kel elements. I'm telling you, when I was a kid, couldn't stand it. As an adult, can't stand it. Just do what you need to do at that exact moment and advance the plot. Still a great episode, though. So yeah, 3 episodes left. More than excited for what's to come. Okay, so now for a little house cleaning element. Got to, have those at the end of the episode if necessary. I've got a newsletter. Made an edition of it already, but that's down in Substack. I'll put the link down in the description. Shout out Ollier for putting me onto Substack. Great tool. So I put the videos that I made during the week in there, any adventures I had during the week with acting or, modeling my career, so to speak, and other interesting links, thoughts, perspectives, all that good stuff. It's just the newsletter of Calabasas Jones. It's called the Calabasas Connect. So I've got that link down below. And that about does it. So I will see y'all soon. And as always, stay powerful and keep flexing.